Hello everyone, welcome to Conjunctions in Astrology. Rahu, North Node of the Moon, in conjunction with Jupiter. On this video I'll give you all the details of how this conjunction will influence you during your lifetime. If you're new to my channel, don't forget to sub below. Give the video a thumbs up if it's good for you. Let's begin. First point, everybody, what is a conjunction in astrology? You may think you have a conjunction of Rahu and Jupiter, but do you? In the Western system, it's all about how close they are by degree, but this is not the case in the Vedic system. A conjunction in the ancient Vedic system is about planets being in the same sign together, because a sign equals a house. So, if two or more planets are in the same sign, no matter how far apart they are by degree, they are in conjunction. But if one planet is 29 degrees of one sign, let's say, and the other planet at 0 of the next sign, that's not a conjunction, even though they are only 1 degree apart in space, because they are in different signs, therefore different houses, with a completely different lord. Another point to consider is the nakshatra. If planets are in a different nakshatra but in the same sign, are they still forming conjunction? Most definitely they are, because the nakshatra just gives them an internal experience, but they're still in the same sign, they're still sharing the experience of that house, and they are still in a conjunction. So if you find that you do have Jupiter and Rahu in the same sidereal sign, this conjunction is known as Guru Chandal Yoga. First of all, let's explore the meaning of the individual planets, the energies themselves. Who is Rahu? Rahu, commonly known as a north node of the moon, is a shadow planet. His nature is that of a demoniac being, and his purpose is to keep us entwined in this material Maya illusion. He is doing this so that only those who are truly worthy will attain liberation. To fulfill this purpose, Rahu will give you the lust for material name and fame. In fact, no one is more likely to give you more power, success than Rahu, which is why he represents politics. He will give you intelligence to manipulate the material elements. He takes you to foreign land and culture. With this high intelligence, you will also be prone to disguise, cheating, gambling, recklessness, cunning and harsh speech, and all forms of deception. Worst case, he rules suicidal tendency, great fears, obsession, and drug addiction. He also represents all non-human beings, animals on this planet. Therefore, it's very important to have high ethics in connection with these beings to avoid the wrath of Rahu. And who then is Jupiter? Jupiter is a pure sattvic spiritual being. He has at heart all of our well-being because his job is to give us knowledge. That's why it's called Guru, to take us out of this material entanglement. He gives us this by the two signs he rules, Sagittarius and Pisces. In the sign of Sagittarius, Jupiter rules religious systems from which we get rules of behavior, dharmic action, right behavior, wrong behavior, and also consequences of our actions, laws of karma. From Pisces, he rules that deep, intuitive spiritual knowledge inside of all of us, where we actually get in touch with the Supreme Being, ultimately freeing ourselves from birth and death in this material world. Therefore, he is the most compassionate and the most forgiving of all the grahas. Jupiter has such an impact on our life on this earth because, as well as ruling both Sagittarius and Pisces, he actually rules so many other houses of our chart for which he is Karaka. Jupiter is Karaka for children, wealth, father, education, foreign land, husband in a female chart, and elder brother. So what a clash there is when you have the Guru Chandal Yoga, when you have Rahu conjunct to Jupiter. Rahu's materialistic nature, all full of the grasping of material desire, is conjunct to Jupiter with the pure divine knowledge. They are completely opposite to each other. They are bitter enemies. This is a great challenge in your life which you have to face. Don't forget, it's a yoga, it's a joining together, not a dosh. It's Guru Chandal Yoga, the Guru, the highest, with the Chandal, those who oppose authority, oppose goodness. So basically, you have a test at every phase of your life. If you have this conjunction, you will be challenged and tested. Which way do you go? There will always be this. Do you go for the ambition, the unethical behavior, manipulation, the greed and the secrecy? Or do you go for the openness, the goodness, the purity, being honest, having higher knowledge and moral values. This is, of course, Jupiter. So Rahu, Jupiter are both fighting within you. It's a great dichotomy, a great split at the heart of your being. First thing to understand is that not everybody with Guru Chandal Yoga is going to be tempted to really unethical, nefarious activities, doing really almost criminal deeds in society. That's not the case. That can happen, most definitely, but that's not the norm at all. What you're going to see is that there is at the heart of everything, though, a rebellion. Tradition is Jupiter, and Rahu is rebelling against tradition. So what's going to happen is you become the number one rebel in society against everything, basically. From an early age, you're questioning everything. Why do I have to do this? What is this law for? What is this religion? What is this philosophy? Why do you believe that? Why can't it be something else? Everything that you see that is passed down to you in any tradition, whether it's the law of the country or religion, philosophy, your nature is to challenge it, because Rahu demands that you challenge these traditions. There is a high level of independence with this Guru Chandal Yoga. You are definitely going to want to do your own thing. To be fenced in at any time is the worst factor for you. Again, if there is extreme challenge to this, like a Mars aspect, there can be selfishness, even cruelty. But most importantly, it's just about wanting to break down barriers in front of you, which you will do. So naturally, anybody who opposes this, like teachers, gurus, father, any authority figure at all, can become someone with whom you will have definite difficulties. The strange thing is that people with this yoga often want to follow a traditional religion, often want to be religious, want to be philosophical. Philosophy, religion means so much to them. They want to have a belief system, but very often they just cannot bring themselves to follow things strictly as they've been laid down before. They have to make some change to feel truly at home. One more factor I've seen is that although this yoga gives you extreme independence, rebelliousness, determination not to be pinned down in any way, free to do what you want when you want, at the same time, there is a naivety. I've seen this. Jupiter, Rahu can be very naive, trusting, opening up your heart to anybody. That's why it is notoriously known for following false gurus. And in other Jupiterian areas too, there can be difficulty. In education, you can leave a course early on an impulse due to Rahu. You can actually find that you're not happy with the course you've taken, that it doesn't take you where you want to go. You've got to be a little bit slower making decisions around education to get the best of this aspect, because it does give you very high intelligence and great talent in research. Jupiter rules children also, and with Rahu, many strange situations can arise in regard to children. I've seen large families or families of different relationships coming together, ex-husband, ex-wife, etc. I've seen all sorts of different conceptions that are outside of the norm, like surrogacy, IVF, there can be adoption of children. Anything which isn't the norm can occur. And Jupiter Rahu gives a real intensity of your involvement with children. They become important to you, but they're always going to be a little bit unusual. Sometimes you can educate them in a really different avant-garde way, once again outside of the norm and akin to children, non-human beings. Jupiter rules them and so does Rahu, so you have an intense involvement with animals also, and as long as this is ethical, it's going to be good. Jupiter, of course, in a female chart is the husband. With Rahu, husband can come definitely from foreign land or foreign culture. But the most important factor is there is naivety and trusting nature with this Jupiter Rahu for male and female. But for female here, be really careful. Be careful when you're meeting new partner to get to know somebody slowly, to have more patience. Rahu makes you jump into impulsive relationships that can be really strong infatuations even. But most importantly, check out that everybody is as they say they are. There can be secrets with the husband. You don't get to know them until you are with them. So the longer courtship goes on with this Jupiter Rahu, the better it can be. There are two extremely positive factors, though, to Jupiter Rahu, no matter what sign or house, and this is foreign lands. Going into a distant place from where you were born is often attractive for you because Rahu rules foreign lands and so does Jupiter. So foreign land or far distant place becomes important in your career. And also, when you do things independently, when you work for yourself, this is excellent for an entrepreneur, someone who wants to set their own boundaries, make their own business. Doing it for yourself is definitely all Rahu Jupiter. You don't do well in employment unless you have an enormous amount of independence on the job. Now, the challenges I've just discussed will be there, whatever the sign placement, but some signs Jupiter has a stronger chance of bringing you out on top of this. That is Cancer, Sagittarius, and Pisces, where he is strong. But in Gemini, Virgo, Aquarius, where Rahu is strong, you've got to be very careful to avoid temptation and risky behaviors. In all the other signs, it's an equal challenge between Rahu and Jupiter. The house placement is very important because it shows you the area where the challenges are going to manifest most clearly. If you have Rahu Jupiter in Kendra 1, 4, 7, 10, you have in any case a Sarpadosh. This means that Rahu and Ketu are taking you in a new direction in this incarnation. It's a churning at the very heart of your being, and now Jupiter is involved. First house Rahu Jupiter, such a unique personality, so much charisma, a great teacher and a guide to others at some point in your life. Fourth house, your mother is unique, different in some way, a great influence on you. Foreign settlement can be shown, but very often your homeland pulls you back. Seventh house, unusual relationships, often again with foreigners. But please be careful to get to know people slowly, as I've talked about on the video. You are impulsive in relationships. 10th house, many ups and downs career-wise. Definitely things settle after age 42. But before 42, there's a lot of dissatisfaction. Probably the best house for Rahu Jupiter is the 11th house. In the 11th house, both Jupiter and Rahu are strong. You can do something great in society, politically, socially. You can serve society and get great rewards. You can also get great financial assets from this position. It's also good for children. Rahu becomes strong in the 3rd and 6th house, but Jupiter is weakened. So there's a danger of undharmic action, of difficulty and stress. You have to be aware of it. 3rd house, good for media career. A lot of travel in your life. Digital technology can definitely benefit you. 6th house, good for medical career, serving others, helping non-human beings, definitely. Watch your own health though. There can be many niggling problems. 5th and 9th house are very challenging positions because Jupiter is strong, but Rahu is strong to do ill and to challenge this. So 5th house, there can be some difficult situations karmically with children. There can be changes in education also. But don't forget to see 5th house Lord, D5, D7 chart also, and make a judgment in the Navamsa. 9th house, don't forget that this is the house of father, and Jupiter is the guide, the guru. Rahu here, difficulty with father, difficulty foreign lands, although you are definitely going to be going there or having some strong input from foreign lands. You've got to be cautious committing to gurus, leaders and teachers also. Other challenging placements are the 2nd house, where the speech can be harsh. There can be expenditure which goes over the top, difficulty financially, and family concerns can be greatly challenging. 8th house, many obstacles come suddenly into your life, but you have enormous spiritual and occult wisdom here. You can be a great astrologer with this 8th house. 12th house position, a lot of fear, a lot of fantasy, fabrication, not clear in your whole life direction. But foreign lands can be helpful for you, and spiritual guidance in the end will be profitable. So most definitely, Rahu-Jupiter conjunction is a great test in your lifetime, but a very unique incarnation to have this conjunction. What you should do to calm down the negative factors: first of all, be careful of gemstones, etc., strengthening Jupiter if you are Taurus or Libra, because for you, Jupiter is in any case a functional malefic. So whole chart must be seen for these remedies. The best remedy for everybody, no matter what sign, no matter what house, is Rahu and Jupiter rule non-humans. Rahu and Jupiter are both angered terribly when there is cruelty to them. So the easiest remedy is just to become vegetarian. This will definitely calm down many of the negative karmas. Moral action at all time will also help Jupiter to come out on top, because as I say, he must win the battle. And after 42, Rahu calms down, fortunately. On your screen now, don't forget to check out the karmas of the sign placement behind this conjunction, and also the house position of Rahu and Ketu, all part of Guru Chandal Yoga. If you're new to my channel, don't forget to sub below. Goodbye for now, and God bless everyone.